We didn't used to have that. And it doesn't even say check your engine. We know what's in there. It says service it soon, just in case, you know? You could be due. You guys are looking at my 1987 S10. I bought this thing when I was 18 years old for $200 with 29,000 kilometers on it. It had been sitting in a barn for 20 some odd years. Me and my dad pulled it out. He helped me get it running. So we had this thing looking good and driving really, really well. And for probably 2 summers after we fixed it up, I was driving it to work and just enjoying it, having fun with it. Fast forward, last year I moved home, I bought this house, and I brought this truck to my new house because living back here, I officially wanted to bring this thing back to life. But when I looked at it, I knew it was gonna need a lot more work than I wanted to put into it at the time. So we planned to do the quick and dirty LS swap. We wanted to get this thing running and ripping and just enjoy it for the summer, and then take it on as a project this winter to really restore everything back to the way we want it. We actually had to get the wiring harness sent back out and remade, which took way longer than we expected it to. We actually didn't end up getting this thing running for the summer, and when we didn't, I figured we'll just leave it. We'll come back to it this winter when we have time to do the full resto and complete the LS swap, and make sure that our final product is something that 18-year-old me would absolutely love me for doing. It's time, boys. It is officially time to start on the LS S10. We had this thing running back in May, if you guys remember. It was running and going really well, but it took 4 months to get our wiring harness remade. And like I just said, by the time we got it back, it would have been on the road for a couple weeks, maybe a month, and then obviously now it's winter, you don't want to drive it because the salt will just completely kill it. We can officially dive into this thing, take the winter, and make sure we get this truck done completely and 100% the way I want it to be. So hopefully that gets everybody up to speed that is new to the channel, and anybody that has just been waiting for this to happen. I hope you guys are super stoked. All the S10 videos obviously are in a playlist, but I will leave a link to the playlist down below so you guys can see progress and anything that we've done last year kind of leading up to this point. There's a lot of work that needs to get done on this truck. I'm honestly like really nervous but excited to start on it. This is something that I'm extremely passionate about, is this little tiny truck. And there is absolutely no time to dive into a project that seems like it's gonna be way too big than the winter, because all I can do all winter long is lock myself in here and get shit done. So hopefully this winter we get some shit done. Alright, so we've actually been stacking parts for the S10 like all summer long. I got a whole section just full of S10 stuff. But I figure we should start with the one that left us hanging. The reason this thing wasn't on the road this summer, not that it was Current Performance's fault, it was my fault because I actually changed transmissions. But before we open that box up, I just want to say something really quick. This is not a sponsor. My mom wrote a book. And she didn't just write 1 book. She wrote 2 books. She actually wrote 3 books, but the 3rd one's not out yet. The first book I told you about when I was still in the warehouse, I think. It was like a year and a little bit ago. The second book has been out for a while. It did not just come out, but I let her kind of like launch it and do all her stuff. So there's 2 books right now. The second one has been out for a little while, but it's still relatively new, and it is not that expensive, and it would make a really good gift or whatever, just a good read if you guys read. So what's interesting is they're like a woman's like historical fiction type deal, like romancy novel. There's like some time travel and some really, really crazy stuff in there. It's a story. It's a really good story. But what's really interesting is I have friends whose dads have bought the book, read the book, and then wanted to buy the second one. Like it sounds like something that when I hear it, I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna tell like a bunch of dudes who watch me fix cars to get a book, but you know, Christmas is coming, or even if it's not coming, I don't give a shit. Just check it out. I'll leave a link down below. You can check out her website. There's 2 books out right now. There's the first one is a Skywatcher, A Shadow in Time, and the second one is a Skywatcher, Deja Vu. Check it out. Get it for someone that you know is an avid reader. There's 2 out now, so you can kind of like follow up with the first one if you're just hearing about them, and the 3rd one is on the way. So you guys will have like a full series to read. I think it is really cool. I'll leave a link down below. You guys can check them out. It would mean a lot to me. Oh, nice. Fan relays. Dude, this thing looks so good. So you can see right away, if you guys remember last time, these are the automatic 4L60E connections that we needed. So basically the first time around, this was meant to go on a manual trans. We got a 4L60E. So that's what a lot of the remake was also. You guys can see now, this is the automatic ECU plug. Before we just had these 2, now we have a 3rd one. These are for the speed sensor. This plugs into the trans. We didn't have any of that before. And this is a bit different too. Obviously last time, you guys remember like the original one was way longer. Both sides were like overextended like crazy. So this one now you can see right tucked up here, we have a little OBD2 port. And then you got your speedo plugs, your tack plugs, all the stuff that will actually make it run. And then up here, you guys can see we got like the wiper motors built into this harness, which is really cool. So basically anything that was an accessory of the truck still runs off this harness. This isn't strictly an engine harness, this will run the entire truck, which is like really cool. That's why I'm so pumped, and obviously you guys can tell I'm really excited about this harness. So we can wire in 2 different fans. We got our new fuse box, which is really cool. That probably just takes out some of like those inline fuses that was in the last one. And then this guy goes into the little junction port on my firewall. Basically that is, you know, what controls some of the other things like the fan and all that stuff, I think. So this looks sick. It's not super messy. It's way smaller than the last one. And I already have a general idea of how all this stuff plugs in. All we gotta do now is this truck turned into a dumping ground over the summer. I just put all the truck parts in here and other things like airlines and towels. Look at that nest, dude. That's all OEM wiring harness that I like cut up and tried to figure out how it was run and if I could run the auto trans off of it. Because at the time I was just trying to get the truck to run because it just nothing was working properly. Like the transmission won't shift without a harness. We got our ECU in here. That is the easy part done. All I gotta do now is I think this is, yeah, this is still completely unbolted because I was trying to check something on my oil pressure sensor. Take the side off just because the starter and everything's down there, so it'll make it a little bit easier to get to that stuff. So initially, it makes sense to go like this, kinda. No, this. These can feed down to the trans. This stuff can plug in over here. This stuff does this side of the engine. This stuff does this side of the engine. Guy zip tied up. Dude, I'm gonna have to get some new headers for like when we reassemble this for the final time. These headers are the worst. Like all these things touch. I don't know if you realize, but last time I had like all these zipped up out of the way so they wouldn't hit. I had to like smash the headers, the tip with them with a hammer. There's no way I'm getting anything on that one. This one, you guys remember we had to beat just to get it to sit around that frame because like it didn't fit. I forget the brand of them, but they're like LS tuck headers, but they 100% are not meant to be in this truck. They just took a design from something else and said they were good for the S10 and they're not good for the S10. So that's on the list of things we gotta get done, but I think everything else is plugged in. We got the O2 sensors. I threw them up here because they have nowhere to go. So they're just kind of hanging out up top. Map sensors in, throttle position sensors in, all the starter wires and stuff are in. And it looks good. Like I didn't even tuck it yet and it looks pretty good. All this stuff can get nicely like tucked down in there. Obviously we're gonna take it all back apart. So for this time, I'm not tucking it as beautiful as I did last time, but everything is plugged in, battery connections are on, spark plugs are plugged in, all the injectors and stuff are plugged in. I got this guy in, which is super nice. I really like that he works into there. This, you'll notice, is just hanging out inside the truck because I don't want it to get bashed up in here. We have nowhere to bolt it to right now. And these, obviously, if you guys know anything about like Chevy trucks, the ECU is actually called like a BCM or something, and it sits inside the engine bay. So this is probably, they probably intended on this being in the engine bay. I'm gonna tuck it into the truck, but it's not worth the effort right now to tuck it in just to yank it all out. So you guys are gonna notice all this stuff sticks out. These are like for the dash plugs and stuff, and this is the OBD2 port. All that stuff's gonna hang out outside for now. I think we can go ahead and grab this boy, put some battery connections on it. I already fucked up. This goes to the starter, and the one that's on the starter goes to the alternator. ECU is plugged in, battery's connected. I'm gonna just go ahead and turn the key just to make sure that like... Okay, everything but the... Oh, we took the fuel pump out. Why? Dude, not only is this awesome, but it's actually super helpful because we can actually just leave it up there and like make sure the fuel lines don't leak and all that kind of stuff. And it's not really in the way. Like the truck will still roll back out because it's a tiny little dinker. I was super nervous that these were just gonna like buckle, but it's actually hanging in there pretty good. Beltec lowering kit still looking frickin' brand new. Has literally gone absolutely nowhere. Hell yeah, dude. I think it's time. I think we can see what she does. So we had this truck running before, and we had this truck giving us difficulties before. We had all kinds of situations going on before we sent the harness back out. I'm just gonna go with the bucket approach. Make sure this thing is in park, and we're just gonna see what happens, you know? Let's see if we get anything. I make it sound so easy, dude. I'm nervous. That sounds almost like it's not getting something though. Something is not getting. We'll give it one more go, see what happens. Yeah, okay, so we're missing something. It's time for some good old Robbie tunes. Could literally be as simple as one of the last times we were messing around with something. We changed a setting on the ECU and we just didn't put it back. Could be something as not simple as literally any bad thing that you could think of. Let's open this guy up. It takes about 45 minutes to turn on. I just sat here for 15 minutes while this thing did its thing, and I have no idea if I even changed anything. It says the VATs are disabled. It says my mass airflow sensor is disabled because I'm not running one. I plugged the O2 sensors in right here and just left them on the hood. I don't know. Let's see what happens. You can tell it's not getting gas. There's gas because you can smell it. Last time we had this problem, it was like the VATs weren't disabled, but they're disabled now. We have a check engine light. We didn't used to have that. And it doesn't even say check your engine. We know what's in there. It says service it soon. Just in case, you know? You could be due. The Committed Crew's new gear showed up, dude. Check this out. So we got the same hoodie I'm wearing right now, but in black with the white embroidery. We even got the little festive gold size marking stickers for Christmas. So we got the black with the white embroidery, Stay Committed hoodies, and we brought the toques back, baby. So you can wear this guy just as a toque as is. Got this little felt Committed Crew logo tag right here, but what's really sick about these is if you don't like wearing toques, if you prefer to wear like a beanie, you can unfold this, dude. Wear them as a beanie, dude. Look at that. It's got double-sided CCs. Those two items are going to be stocked on the website December 15th at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So go to the Committed Crew's Instagram, follow them for details, or go to the website and sign up for the newsletter so you guys don't miss anything. I'm trying to give enough time where I can still get it to you in time for Christmas if that's what you're looking for. If you get expedited shipping, you should be able to get it there. I'm pumped. I hope you guys are pumped. We're going to keep these clean for today. And now we get back to the games. If this works, I'm happy because nothing's broken, but I'm also, I guess, an idiot. Let me show you guys the little test I just did. I'll put this rag here just in case, but I don't think anything's gonna happen. So if we go ahead and give this baby some juice. No fuel. Which is interesting because yesterday we were saying it smelled like fuel in here, but maybe there was just so little in the tank that like it was enough to make it smell but not enough to fire it up. I don't know, but there should be a shitload of gas coming out of this when you crank it over, so I guess that's a decent place to start. Oh, that made a new sucky sound. It's always like the stupidest, simplest things that you just completely overlook. Prime this dude up one more time. Oh yeah. Dude, I'm so nervous. I get so nervous every time I know this thing could start. Screen's open. Engine's primed. Fingers are crossed. Fuel line's super hard. Absolutely reeks like gas. So we know this is way more potent than it was yesterday. So we know we're getting gas. Oh, I did the same thing as last time. I jumped, I turned it off. Yes! Good thing I did too. It's leaking gas. That could have been very, very, very bad. Yes. Alright, I got this zip tied up out of the way. I zip tied a bunch of these wires up away from the manifold so that nothing gets melted or burned or anything. And I relocated the battery back inside there because that's kind of where it should have been the whole time. I just headed out because we pulled a bunch of cables and did we're going through surgery with this truck, alright? But the sun is out. My screen is fired back up. We gotta make sure that gas line holds. We gotta make sure the transmission doesn't leak. And last time we left it, it was idling very high. So we really just hope that it idles back down. The return, 6 months later, it returns. Here she goes. Oh, damn, shouty. You gotta keep yourself on. Might need a little finesse in here. So loud, it's literally at 900 RPM. Damn, dude. She's screaming. She's been dead for like 6 months just sitting and it idles down so fast and properly. God, it's beautiful. Oh my God. Dude. She lives. Last time it was running on like who knows what inputs because we were jumping a bunch of crazy stuff and I don't know, dude. Gas tank isn't leaking this time. Fuel line is still good. That was just I just went like this. And it brought it way up. It's obviously still got some stuff to figure out. Because I like just touched the gas pedal. Again though, it hasn't run in eons. It's running so well. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. It's not even cammed yet. Dude, and it was out of gas. Like, are you f***ing kidding me? Probably to do with all the sensors that aren't plugged in too, but I just like, I go like this. I'm not even on the gas. And it idles up and hangs around. Oh, this is the best day ever. I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Just gas. The stupidest thing. That was supposed to be me driving it into the garage. We have a whole new cool problem here. That's right. Nothing. When you give it gas, nothing. All right, this one's good. Nothing's broken, I don't think. It says if your torque converter is not full of fluid, which obviously ours isn't, it just won't work. Like plain and simple, it won't work. So you guys remember last time we had about 10 liters of ATF that we were putting it in, but then like it started spewing everywhere and it's making a complete mess. And then something started going wrong where it was like idling really high and it wouldn't come back down. And I think we just completely disregarded the fact that the fluids were being put in there. And we probably still need to put a lot more fluid in that trans. Not only do I not have any fluid laying around, but I'm gonna estimate we have about 6, maybe 5 liters in there. It leaked a lot. It leaked a lot and we never filled anything back up. I don't think we were done. I think we had 10 liters and we put maybe 8 or 9 in. So here's why this sucks. We only got 1 liter left. I really don't think that's gonna be enough to do the trick because like these things take a lot of fluid and unless they have it and they're pumped, I don't know. I know for sure I didn't screw up the pump when I put the torque converter on because I was so careful and proper with it. This is a huge, huge waste, but I'm gonna do it just for you guys. That sounds like we're out of gas. There you go, boys. That's the end of that. She just ran out of gas. At least I think it's out of gas. We're going with it's out of gas, otherwise we're not gonna be happy. It's just freaking cold outside. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, it probably worked out that way for the better because we have no way to monitor our fuel pressure. That could just potentially be saving the engine altogether, I don't know. What I do know is I'm thankful that it runs, it fires up, and I wanna say thank you to Current Performance Wiring for rebuilding that entire harness and getting us ready and back in business. Now the S10 build begins, but I want to leave you guys with something different at the end of today's video instead of just pumping you up for the next one. Remember to always compare yourself to yourself and not to others. You are your biggest competition, your only competition, really. If you're comparing yourself to others who are ahead of you, you're probably always gonna feel behind. You gotta learn to just do it even though you don't want to. What I'm trying to say is this. I have had to take the box off of an S10 3 different times in my life. First time, my dad and my brothers helped me and we put it on a pile of snow beside our house. The second time, I went to the store and I bought a rope. I tied a rope to all 4 corners and I used the engine crane to get it off the truck because I was thankful enough to have an engine crane. The third time, I put it on a lift in my backyard garage that is beautiful new floors, freshly painted, is mine, I own it. At the same time as I'm going through this phase where like I'm trying to change what I'm doing a little bit into more things that I'm very excited about and make me excited, such as like the Jeep and the truck stuff, like the LS S10 stuff. To be honest, I've done this before, but it never really performs as good as the content I was doing, so I always kind of did it and I backed out of it real quick, but like I love this truck more than a lot of other things, and I'm really excited to just chase it and build it and make it mine. Gone JDM, and now I'm like Jeep and S10 stuff, and at the same time that it's hard for a lot of people to grasp that, and I feel like maybe I screwed up or whatever I feel in my head. No matter how I feel, I have to look around and realize that I'm progressing regardless, because this is the first time I've ever been able to lift a truck bed off my truck like this by myself. Easy. And while that sounds stupid, it's important for you guys to keep tabs on yourself and not others. Compare yourself to yourself. You may feel like you're in the same place as last year. You feel like you haven't accomplished that much. You feel like you're behind, or you feel however. But are you truly better than you were a year ago? That's it. That's all I gotta say. And it came from something as silly as putting this up on the lift. And the S10 build is officially underway, baby. Make sure you guys like this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I will catch you guys next time. Peace out and stay committed.